The New York Jets have moved on from multiple assistant coaches, but Tanner Engstrand remains on the staff. However, it's not exactly 100% that he is going to remain the offensive coordinator unless I am misunderstanding this report. I will let you decide what to do with this information. The source is Aaron Wilson, who, if you are on NFL social media, you know Aaron Wilson is legit. He covers the NFL out of Houston. He was the one who originally broke the news back at the end of the 2022 season that the Jets had moved on from offensive coordinator Mike LaFleur. So Aaron Wilson's got sources, and he is reporting that the Jets are moving on from several assistant coaches, including Charles London, Eric Washington, Roosevelt Williams, Scott Turner, Aaron Curry, Alonzo Escalante, hearing they will reassign at least one other offensive coach who was retained by Aaron Glenn. So that was his initial report was, hey, they're going to reassign somebody who was retained, could be getting demoted. Obviously, Charles London is the quarterback coach. Eric Washington coaches defensive line. Aaron Curry coaches linebackers. And then Scott Turner was their passing game coordinator, who I thought at the time, I thought Scott Turner was a decent hire. Now, I don't know, man. Is it Scott Turner's fault that they had like Justin Fields and Brady Cook? I don't know, but obviously passing offense wasn't good. But Scott Turner's been around the league. He's been a coordinator before, so that was a decent hire to pair with your rookie OC, I thought. But he's gone. Okay, now Wilson adds to it that the Jets offensive coordinator Tanner Engstrand remains on Aaron Glenn's staff per sources, while his role, responsibilities, and the structure of the 29th ranked total scoring offense are expected to change and still being defined. So it sounds to me like Aaron Glenn is assuming that Tanner Engstrand is going to again, this is it sounds like he's going to be demoted and maybe kept as like pass game coordinator, maybe replace Scott Turner as passing game coordinator, and then the Jets will have a new play caller. Like I'm not trying to be clickbaity, guys. If this age is to be incorrect, I apologize. I don't know how else to interpret that report. I could share the tweet. Maybe I am having trouble reading. I'll throw the tweet on the screen. You can be the decider of information here. Here it is from Aaron Wilson. Again, Jets offensive coordinator Tanner Engstrand remains on Aaron Glenn's staff per league sources, while role, responsibility, structure of NFL 29th ranked total scoring offense is expected to change and still being defined. Why do all reporters tweet like Chat GPT now? This is kind of a little bit of a word salad, but again, that sounds like maybe the Jets are going to have a new person calling plays on offense. Maybe that's what it sounds like. Now, in terms of the defensive staff, like I imagine the Jets are going to allow their new coordinator to completely rebuild the defensive staff. So it was assumed to me that that was going to be a top down situation. Curry, obviously, the linebackers were horrifically coached this year. The fact that Sherwood and Quincy became unplayable. So that kind of is what it is there. But and Charles London obviously is a he is persona non grata around Jets land. Definitely not the most inspiring person if the Jets are going to be developing a young quarterback anytime soon. Uh, but man, Engstrand, what's going on there, man? I honestly didn't even anticipate that there could be a change of offensive play caller. Maybe that was naive of me. Maybe it's ownership who said, "Look, AG, you can come back, but I need heads on spike. I need someone for the wreckage, brother. Right? I need some heads on spikes." Uh, hmm. I mean, let's be clear. It's not as though Tanner Engstrand is the second coming of Sean McVay, but I didn't end the season thinking, "Oh my gosh, we have to move up. We have to make a change at offensive coordinator necessarily. But they're going to obviously have openings at QB coach, pass game coordinator, maybe play caller. So let's look at some names that could be added to this offensive staff. Now, obviously, one is if they're going to have a new play caller, Adam Stenovich, who I thought was a good candidate the last cycle when they needed one, offensive line background, and he is the offensive coordinator for the Green Bay Packers. So technically, they could block it. They could block the lateral move, but obviously, he doesn't call plays. LaFleur calls the plays, so sometimes coaches will allow a lateral move if a guy is really getting a chance to call his own plays. So Stanovich would be on the short list for me if the Jets are going to add a new play caller. Absolutely. You know, there's obviously Bobby Slowick, who's done the job before. He was the Dolphins senior pass game coordinator. Okay. There's Justin Riscotti, the Bengals pass game coordinator. Has spent time with Joe Burrow. That's cool. And then in terms of getting somebody to help out with quarterbacks, Ashton Grant is the Patriots quarterback coach. And hey, man, he was a wide receiver. He was a former wide receiver. But Drake May is a year 2 MVP. So it would be a promotion where you're like, hey, do you want to be pass game coordinator / assistant head coach and rub off some of your magic on the Ty Simpson or Garrett Nussmeier or whoever else it's going to be? I had David Blow on here, but he was promoted after they moved on from Cliff Kingsbury, and I think Cliff is going to be like, dude, Cliff is not going to be an OC for the Jets. You know, Ronald Curry, Bills QB coach, same thing. Could you give him a promotion, make him pass game coordinator? Andrew Janoko, Saints QB coach, again, from a good staff, give him a promotion, QB coach / pass game coordinator. Some options there. Some options. I think the big names, obviously, Mike McDaniel has already agreed to be the Chargers OC if he doesn't get a head coaching job. Dable's interviewing for head coaching jobs. I don't think the Jets are going to get a guy, like that. So it'd probably be an uninspired, like Matt Nagy. Like that's kind of the Matt Nagy aisle, right? I don't know. Is Tanner reassigned? Well, we don't know yet, but Aaron Wilson is reporting that his role could change. Yeah, the cryptic Engstrand. Is it confirmed? Well, it's not confirmed what his role will be. No, it is not confirmed what his role will be. Would Nagy be the worst thing? I mean, Matt Nagy, dude, I don't know, man. Matt Nagy kind of turned Patrick Mahomes into like Jared Goff. I don't know. He's obviously called plays before. He did somehow win. Wasn't that him who won 12 games with Mitch Trubisky, with like second year Mitch Trubisky somehow, and they lost in the double doink? Isn't that Nagy? Will Stein from Oregon, and then Dante Moore 2027. Didn't Will Stein take another job already? Yeah, he's a head coach in Kentucky, obviously former OC at Oregon. Oh, that's a fire Ducks hat. That's a clean Oregon hat. I might have to have this hat. I have to show you guys this hat. It's so nice. You might not like it. It might not be your style. Oh, now everything went small. Look at that hat though. That's a nice hat. Yeah, I appreciate the hey, you gotta keep an open mind, man, you know? Maybe. Flip the entire staff, I got a bad feeling. Yeah, it's one of those things, man, where if they didn't make any changes, we'd probably gripe about that. I'm just curious as to I wanna get confirmation. I wanna get confirmation on this offensive coordinator thing, and I don't think we will, like, tonight, probably. Maybe a different, like, NFL source will have that. I don't know. I mean, Tanner Engstrand is like a net neutral situation to me. I don't really necessarily care one way or the other, but, I didn't think that that would be a change that they would make. By the way, the Bills are interviewing Philip Rivers for their head coaching job, so they are spiraling. When does AG talk again? Yeah, I think he and Muji will definitely talk at the Senior Bowl. Early congratulations on 14K. Oh, 14K subscribers. Is that oh early, so I'm almost there. Okay. Yeah, well, yeah. Oh, I don't know. Subscribers don't really matter a ton, but it's cool. That's a lot of people. Dayball and Glenn are friends. Okay. Yeah, I would take obviously I would take Dayball. I think he's more of a Josh Allen merchant, than anything else, but I would take him as an OC. Is Carnell Tate at Tua reach and is Tua a good option at quarterback? Well, those are very relative terms. Like, is Tua a good option? No. Look, here's the thing. If we're gonna have a bum quarterback, I just don't want it to be one that I already hate, like Mac Jones and Tua. Is Jameis or Mariota or whatever any better than them? No, but if we're gonna win 6.5 games with some random scrub QB, I just don't want it to be one that I hate. And obviously Tua, like there was points in his career where Tua was pretty nice. Obviously, it was mostly the offensive coordinator and mostly the weapons. But I think Tua, the concussions kind of just broke him a little bit. He wasn't the same player. He started bailing from clean pockets and just was so afraid to go through the his reads because he didn't want to get hit. He just couldn't play anymore. But there was a point where Tua was definitely an above average starter. Oh, and then Carnell Tate. Is it a reach at 2 in a vacuum? Do I think Carnell Tate is a player that is worthy of a number 2 overall pick? No. In this particular draft, he's one of the 6 players that if they took at pick 2, I would understand it. I would understand it. So between Bain, Bailey, Reese, Tate, Lemon, Downs. Like, and again, varying degrees of confidence in that. I probably won't prefer the game wrecking, pass rushers. But those are all guys I think at pick 2. I'm like, okay, I get it. And the thing about Tua is he can't play when it's under 45 degrees. So there's also that. Like after Halloween in the Northeast, he will become useless. So you would think if it's insinuated that Engstrand's being demoted, they would have a rough OC plan already. Yeah, if that's the case, they've probably already done interviews. The thing is, the Jets are just not super leaky under Aaron Glenn and Muji, it seems. So that's why I think it's like, why people are like, why is Charles London still employed? It's like, and these guys have probably been let go like on Black Monday. Right? We already know Aaron Glenn has been in Cancun the last 10 days because that fan saw him on a plane or whatever. So these guys probably been fired. This is like 2-week-old news, most likely. Um, maybe they've already told their offensive coordinator that he's got the job. Uh, News just trickles a week or so behind with this regime, and like, okay, that's probably an. I mean, it doesn't matter really in terms of winning games, no, but that's probably positive. You'd probably rather it be that way than be crazy leaky. You forgot Peter Woods, dude. Peter Woods is good. He wouldn't be I wouldn't want Peter Woods at pick 2, but I would definitely take Peter Woods at pick 16. Absolutely. Peter Woods is an awesome prospect. Peter Woods is the Peter Woods of Peter Woodses. They don't feel the need to give in to fans who demand to know everything immediately. Um yeah, like what is it? What does it matter if we know now that Charles London was fired or like 8 days ago, right? You think maybe Nussmeier being brought in and then draft his son at 44? Oh, I where does isn't he on the Saints staff? I believe. Doug. What is his job? Currently an offensive coordinator for the Saints. That'd be a great call, right? Because obviously Kellen Moore calls the plays, so maybe he could come in. Garrett Nussmeier. Actually, I think I drafted him. I did draft him in my next Fix the Jets mock off season. I have notes for. I traded Jermaine Johnson. Why not? Who cares? I think this is we've reached the point in Jet fandom where I've really just seen like the complete detachment to players. Like if I get a tweet that says like Breece Hall has signed this deal with the Kansas City Chiefs, I'm gonna just be like, oh, anyway, Jermaine Johnson traded. Jermaine Johnson and a 7th rounder traded for a 3rd rounder back. Okay, what was I up to? Like, who cares? Who cares? There's like 5 guys on this team who matter. Jermaine Johnson and Breece Hall aren't even one of the 5. It's like the offensive lineman and Garrett and uh, I don't know, maybe Mason Taylor and AZ Thomas because they're young. Maybe Will McDonald, even though not really, kind of maybe. But yeah, man. With Nussmeier, it's like, dude, I wish I could take Ty Simpson and have him have Nussmeier's experience because Nussmeier is minuscule. Minuscule. He looks like a high school player. Obviously, he had a pretty good year in 2024. Was the way too early top 10 pick. But I think a Nussmeier could come in with a decent floor. He could be the Shug in the rug. I know it's Shuck, but it's too late. He's Shug to me. He could be the Shug in the rug for the Jets, who can come in and just do Shug stuff, and that would be fine. If you could get a Shug variant at even pick 44, right? Because that's where you'd have to take him. I don't think Nussmeier makes it to round 4, especially because it seems like Chambliss is going to get his way and go back to school. So if not, that would make Nussmeier QB3. And I don't think the QB3 makes it to the 4th round. So if you want Nuss, you want to get on the Nuss bus, you probably have to take him at 44. This is a good question. Do you think something fishy with the Tyrod news? Oh, there's Tyrod news? What's happening? Give us the Tyrod news. Don't be cryptic. Tyrod. Oh, okay. Well, this is the Tyrod news I'm seeing is from Tony Pauline, so maybe if I see it from literally anyone else. Uh Not seeing it from anyone else yet. But yeah, Salah could be interested in some of his old players. I think Jermaine for a trade. I think Sherwood probably not because he's like I could just take a 4th round random player and make him just as mid as Sherwood. But I think Jermaine would be the big one, and then obviously like if we cut Tony Adams or Clemens, like Salah will probably scoop up our scraps, whatever. You'd be so annoyed if the Jets took blank with the 1-2. This is nice. Like it's scaffolding because I'm tired, Dana. So it removes the thinking of me. I don't have to speak in complete sentences. I'll be so mad. Okay. So this is a good question. Of the plausible options, like I'm not gonna say, oh, they're not gonna take fucking Denzel Boston at 2. They're not gonna take Caden McDonald at 2. What is the most plausible option that they could take at 2 that I would be not happy with? Mm, 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 mm. I guess Ty Simpson to be honest, because I don't know like what else. I mean, unless the most weird thing I could see them doing, Dano, is Jermod McCoy was probably going to be in contention to be the first non-quarterback off the board if he was healthy. So, like that, taking a corner off a torn ACL, even though again he might have been the best player. That would not I would not like that. Or I guess Peter Woods. They could like Peter Woods at 2. Well, McDonald could be traded to the Titans. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I wanted the Jets to take a flyer on Shug, but I didn't know that would have to be done at the top of the second round. I was thinking pick 75 for Shuck. But these guys always go earlier than you think. To be fair, I also said the Jets should have just taken Shadur Sanders at in the fifth round, and glad they didn't do that. but the point was like you could just cut him. It's like, oh, just cut him if he sucks. It's fifth round, right? But yeah, Sanders was horrible. Dylan Gabriel, I still can't believe Dylan Gabriel was drafted with real American draft capital. He's got no traits, and he's small, and he's old. Which now that I say it, Garrett Nussmeier, I don't know. I mean, I think Nussmeier is better than Dylan Gabriel, but all of those adjectives do apply to him as well. Ty Simpson is the best QB in this draft. He might be. I mean, look, I don't think Ty Simpson is very good, or is some great quarterback prospect, but neither is Mendoza. You know, I would take Mendoza with the number one pick because I think he could be solid. And in a draft class like this, like a solid QB is a very valuable thing relative to the options. But Mendoza, I think, is the consensus feeling on Mendoza. I think is probably higher than what my feeling of him is. Even though I would take him at number one, I want to be clear that I'm not just coping because the number one pick. I would take him at number one. I wish we had the number one pick so we could take him, but uh, will he ever be a top 8 quarterback? Probably not. What's the mood up in Buffalo regarding the Bills? Doom and gloom. Um, just like kind of, there's definitely some shock after how it went down with McDermott, and McDermott's got, and I think it was very pro McDermott. I think Bills fans were like, "Holy crap, man! Our owner is crazy. Our GM is on an ego trip." And McDermott, ironically, that was the least McDermotty exit. They've had some McDermotty exits, like 13 seconds left. Still, I can't. How you don't play press coverage in that situation is like maybe fireable then. But dude, Josh Allen turned the ball over like 5 times or whatever. So I don't know. Like he just that fumble at the end of the game was he just he gave them the ball like he was point shaving. And they lost by 3 points. Your quarterback gave them 3 points. Oh, well, he had them right back in it. They're only there because of him. It's like, yeah, we know Josh Allen is good, but dude, that game, if he doesn't do those stupid things, they win. Right? He lost to Bo Nix because Bo Nix didn't do as many stupid things. How about John Mateer? I think John Mateer went back to school. I'm pretty sure John Mateer is back to Oklahoma. Yeah, are they going to do to Tanner Engstrand? Is he going to get Zach Wilson by Justin Fields? Tanner Engstrand, when the Jets were playing Tyrod Taylor and Justin Fields, they were scoring just over 20 points a game on average. That is more than they scored with Aaron Rodgers, Garrett Wilson, Devontae Adams last year. Now, that shouldn't be the bar, but I'm just saying that is a statistical fact. And then once they did the Brady Cook of it all, they went down to scoring like 12 points a game. So I don't know. Like if you have Justin Fields and Tyrod Taylor and I mean one like actual receiver for the most part, like Mitchell got there late and you score 20 points a game, it's like, yeah, you're probably not the biggest issue, but I don't know if I also don't have evidence that Engstrand is like good. So I'm not going to fall on the sword for him. But the reality is like, man, Yeah. Aaron Glenn just feels like the most obvious, just dead man walking coach I've ever seen. I don't maybe that's just because I consume a lot of Jets media, so it's like confirmation bias because that's all you hear. I but it it just seems like we're running out the clock on another year. I don't know, man. Aaron Glenn will save the franchise by getting us the number 1 pick in 2027. Man, I mean, they gave it their damnedest in this past year, so what else can you do, man? How many Brady's do you have to cook? Maybe. They'll probably pick high again. Maybe not number 2 overall because I mean, how can they be worse? It's a dangerous question to ask, but how can they be worse? Pete Carmichael? Yeah, he's a Peyton disciple, right? I think he's been around the league a while. He's an assistant on the Saints staff. I'm sorry, Denver staff, but he was with Peyton in New Orleans too. That's cool. Pete Carmichael. Pete Carmichael gang. Pete Carmichael hive. We are down bad. It'd be kind of weird to strip Engstrand of his play calling duties and keep him on the staff, though. Remember they did that with Hackett? They were like, "Hey, Nate, like, you know, we're gonna go in a different direction, but like, do you want to seek other opportunities?" And he was like, "Nah, man, I want to hang out with you guys." And they were like, "Oh, yeah, yeah, of course, man. Like, you could still hang around." And he's just like chilling, collecting like welfare from Woody Johnson. Hey, Dano says, "Hit the light, thanks, man." I keep refreshing for more news. Probably gonna have to wait till later in the weekend. Are you guys in the stormy area? Are you in where it's storming? I mean, we're getting the storm, but it's normal for us. No preparation needed. Oops. Yeah, I saw the mayor, or is it mayor elect? Has that guy taken over yet? Zoran, is he your mayor yet? Oh no, he won the election. He tweeted out that you guys were gonna get like 8 to 15 inches or whatever. I'm like, those are rookie numbers, man. 8 to 15 inches. We do 8 to 15 inches of snow before breakfast, man. Yeah, there's like two. Luckily, fingers crossed, it hasn't happened so far. And usually it happens by now because the lake effect happens before the lake freezes over. And it was like negative 16 freaking wind chill today, and it's gonna be for a hot minute. So hopefully that lake freezes over soon and we can escape it. But probably two times a year, my house will get hit with well over 3 feet of snow. Um, it's not fun. But my neighbor just got a plow on his truck. So I have a long ass driveway, and add snow blowers. So it's like tattoos, obviously. Don't go cheap on tattoos. and I would add snow blowers. Like just get the freaking 3 foot thing that's gonna fire it like halfway down the block. Um, because mine is not that. But luckily, my neighbor's got a plow on his truck, so I'm squared away for those times. But yeah, it's not fun. So yeah, 15 inches is like rookie numbers. Yeah, the wind chill is you forget how cold that is. Like just being outside, like on your face, it's like feels like your teeth are gonna break. And then it'll be like 30, and you're like, "Ooh, this is kind of nice." Have you always lived in Buffalo? No. Um, no. Suffolk County, Long Island. Lived in Central New York too. Might be moving back there. We shall see. Buffalo's cool though. I mean, the winters. It's honestly, Billy. It's a little bit exaggerated because we do get the lake effect snow, but depending on where you live in New York, like it's not like Syracuse. Honestly, gets more total snow than we do. So like Central New York is just as bad. Um, Ohio, it's like I don't know, like Buffalo makes the news for a few blizzards, so people assume that it's like living in Alaska or something, but it's really not. It's not that bad. And you go to war with the snow, you know? The battling the snow is as close as the suburban dad will get to war, you know? Yeah, you take it as a personal affront when your driveway is not clear. Is there gonna be? I don't even know if there's a dome on the new Bills stadium. I have no idea what that's like. I don't really follow the Bills, you know, any more than any other team that's not the Jets. Will I go to games? Yeah, I like going to playoff games. So a few times most of their playoff runs I've gone to one or so. And I'm just like that guy. What's the actor Rob Lowe, where he has like the NFL logo on? Because I'm not wearing Bills gear, obviously, but I'm not going to wear like gear of the other team and deal with that. And definitely not going to wear Jets gear for no reason. So I'm just that guy in like a black hoodie and like a, a trucker cap, just like quietly hoping the Bills lose. But also, I want it to be like a good game. So yeah, the one year it was around this cold. It was in the negative teens for wind chill. It was when they blew out the Patriots when the Patriots had Mac Jones at the end of Belichick's era. Uh yeah, legitimately like negative 20-ish wind chill, and Ryan Fitzpatrick was at the game and he took his shirt off at the end. So that was a choice. Um, all right. Thoughts on Reese at 2 and packaging 16 and Jermaine to trade up for Tater Downs? I would so reset 2 is one of the options I like. I I don't know, man. If I were betting, like, if does Reese disappoint or become Micah Parsons, it's probably more likely disappoint. He's got the talent. I like Bane better. Um, but Reset 2 is cool. I totally get it. They want to chase that ceiling because he does have, if he does, hit, he could be a superstar. Like I don't know if Ruben Bain is ever going to be a perennial all pro. And that's at 2, you want that. But at also, I think Reese, there's more variance. Like, I think Bane is more likely to has a higher floor. But yeah, Reese at 2 is cool. Now, I don't think it would be enough. I don't think Jermaine Johnson would be enough to move from 16 to like 10, right? They would probably like if you're another team, I'm like, just give me pick 44. Or maybe Jermaine in like a fifth. Like you need something else. I'm open to it, man. I'm open to moving up and getting, if you could leave the first round with a game wrecking defender and like a second wide receiver one, and then you still have pick 33. That's a quasi first round pick. You can go ahead and get another high impact defensive player like a CJ Allen. Yeah, like if you're telling me you get Arvell Reese, uh, you come up to 10, you get Carnell Tate. Let's say you traded 44. And then you get CJ Allen. So you have Reese, or maybe it's Bane, whatever. You have an edge rusher, Carnell Tate, and then like a CJ Allen. And you took 4 picks and turned it into those 3 players. Sure. Part of me also feels like, dude, there's good wide receivers in every damn draft class, and the Jets is gonna have to put on their big boy pants at some point and find a receiver on day 2 who can play. You got to do it at some point, man. Like the year in and year out. The Troy Franklins of the world pop up. Even that kid Illuminor in Tennessee, what do you have, 700 yards as a 4th-round pick in a bad offense? Like, Daniel Jeremiah just tweeted that of his top 50 players, he has 11 receivers in the top 50. So you can't find a good receiver at like 33? Come on. Figure it out. If they can't find a wide receiver or 2 at 33, then they should be fired. Like, I don't know what to say. But to answer your question, yeah, I would be down. I'd be down to call up for a receiver. But I'll leave it there. Appreciate you guys hanging out. And go Jets.